Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking the code on the new S-rank agent, Evelyn. She's incredibly powerful, she's super stylish, but building her correctly, well, that's a whole different kind of puzzle.
Okay, so what makes building Evelyn so unique? It's a really fascinating puzzle, and honestly, it all comes down to one single number. You see, she completely breaks the rules that you'd apply to almost every other attacker in the game. And if you build her the standard way, you're not just making a small mistake. You are leaving a massive amount of her power completely locked away.
This is it. This number, right here, is the key to unlocking everything Evelyn can do, an 80% critical hit rate. And look, it's not just a nice goal to aim for, it's a fundamental requirement that changes every single decision you're going to make about her gear. So here's our game plan for solving this puzzle. We're going to start with that critical requirement, then we'll dive into her gear, her weapon, the best upgrade path, her ideal team, and we'll wrap it all up with a simple checklist to put it all together for you.
All right, first up, Evelyn's critical puzzle. Let's break down exactly why that 80% number changes literally everything about her build. Here it is, her core passive skill. Hitting that 80% crit rate isn't just about getting more consistent crits. No, it's a massive, non-negotiable damage boost that multiplies the entire base damage of her most important attacks. Seriously, if you're below 80%, you're basically playing a different, much weaker character. Now I know what you're thinking. 80%? That sounds like a huge number to hit. But here's the secret. Evelyn does most of the heavy lifting for you. She starts with almost 45% crit rate completely for free just from her own kit. That means we only need to find about 36% from her gear, which is way, way more manageable. All right, so with that in mind, let's talk gear. That crazy high base crit rate completely flips our approach to her drivers, and this is exactly where a lot of players make a huge mistake. This brings us to a really critical choice. Your gut instinct might tell you to just slap on the Engagoose set for that massive 28% crit rate bonus. But for Evelyn, that's a total trap. It'll push her way over the 80% cap, wasting tons of valuable stats. The real key here is the Woodpecker set. It completely ignores crit rate and instead gives her the consistent attack buff she actually needs. So your goal with your gear is actually pretty simple. Use your main stats and your substats to hit that 80% sweet spot, and not a whole lot more. Once you're there, you pour every other available stat into crit damage, fire damage, and attack percentage. That's how you maximize her damage output. Okay, next up, her W engine. And listen, this is the single most important piece of her entire kit. If you're going to invest your resources in Evelyn anywhere, it has to be here. And we're not talking about a small little upgrade here. Multiple analyses confirm that her signature weapon, Nocturne of Strings, provides a massive leap in power. We're talking a consistent 20% more damage than the next best option. That is a huge gap. You can really see it here. Her signature weapon, Nocturne of Strings, is just in a completely different league. I mean, Brimstone is a decent option, for sure, but it just doesn't even come close to the raw power and perfect stat synergy of her best-in-slot choice. So what makes it so good? Well, it's basically a perfect storm of stats for her. That 24% crit rate substat makes hitting the 80% threshold almost effortless. Then it adds a gigantic, unconditional 50% crit damage boost. And to top it all off, it gives her a rare fire resistance shred debuff on enemies, which is a damage multiplier you can't really get anywhere else. It is literally tailor-made for her. So this brings us to the biggest investment question of all. Do you pull for her signature weapon, or do you go for her first constellation? It's the classic dilemma, right? Do you go for the character upgrade or the powerful weapon? For a lot of characters, this can be a really tough call. But for Evelyn, believe it or not, the answer is surprisingly clear-cut. When you just break it down like this, the choice becomes pretty obvious. The motif weapon gives you a raw, consistent power boost of over 20%. That's just always on. Her C1 is good. Don't get me wrong. It helps you get your ultimate faster, but its damage increase is situational. You're looking at maybe 15%, and only if the fight is long enough for you to use an extra skill or two. So yeah, across the board, every single analysis points to the same conclusion. Pulling for her weapon provides a much bigger and way more reliable power spike than getting her first upgrade. If you have to choose one, the motif weapon is the undisputed winner, hands down. Okay, now that her personal build is all sorted out, let's find her the perfect team, because the right support can make her truly, truly unstoppable.
The undisputed top-tier team composition pairs Evelyn with her fellow Stars of Lyra member, Astra, and the incredibly powerful breaker, Light. This isn't just a strong team, it's a perfectly synergistic machine.
So why does this trio work so well? Well, Evelyn has all the crit stats she could ever need, but she lacks raw attack buffs. Astra brings those in spades. Then you've got Light, who provides fire damage and just shreds enemy break bars, setting them up perfectly for Evelyn's biggest hits. Every single piece just clicks into place. But hey, what if you don't have her ideal partners? No problem at all. Characters like Krita, who's great with joint attacks during break phases, or Lucy with her long-lasting buffs, are absolutely fantastic substitutes. Nico and Caesar also bring versatile support and survivability, making sure Evelyn can still perform at a really high level.
Okay, let's bring it all together. Here is your final, simple checklist for building the absolute perfect Evelyn. Just follow these 5 steps, right in order, and I promise you'll have an incredibly powerful agent ready for any content in the game. Get the weapon, hit 80% crit with the Woodpecker set, level her most important skills, and then surround her with the right team. It's a clear path to success. And there you have it. The Evelyn puzzle is solved. You now have every single key to unlock her true potential and turn a pretty good character into an absolutely dominant force. When she's built this way, she's one of the most rewarding agents in the entire game. Now go have some fun with her.